Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. We're looking at some incredibly urgent, fast-moving news today. We're talking about a massive spike in hostilities between the US and Iran, pulling directly from the latest reporting by WION. Things are moving fast, and the stakes, well, they involve critical global energy infrastructure and some very explicit military threats. We're going to map out exactly what's being said, the timeline of how we got here, and what the actual stated objectives are. So let's jump in. Section 1. The immediate threat. We're starting with a direct quote from U.S. President Donald Trump, posted straight to Truth Social. He said, "We will be hitting Iran very hard tonight." I mean, wow, this isn't some veiled diplomatic warning, right? Or a quiet leak to the press. It's a public, undeniable guarantee of severe and immediate military action. When you see directness like this, it's a huge signal that the usual rules of engagement are being completely bypassed for something much more aggressive. So, to sum up where things stand this exact minute, the United States is actively warning of immediate aggressive military strikes against Iran. That is the baseline of our current reality. The rhetoric has totally moved past sanctions or backroom negotiations. We are straight into the promise of direct, hard-hitting kinetic action. But hey, to understand why this is happening tonight, we really need to look at what just went down over the last few days. Which brings us to Section 2, escalating tit-for-tat attacks. So, picture this. Back in early April, a fragile ceasefire was actually on the table. We had a pause. But then, on Monday, a massive incident completely shattered that calm. A U.S. Apache helicopter was downed near the Strait of Hormuz. That was literally the match in the powder keg. For the past 2 days since that chopper went down, it's been nonstop. We're talking rapid-fire retaliatory strikes back and forth between U.S. and Iranian forces. That ceasefire, it is completely gone, replaced by a rapid cycle of escalation. And the sheer scale of this retaliation is wild. Iranian forces haven't just kept it local. They've been actively targeting American bases all across the Middle East. We've seen missiles and drones hit U.S. locations in Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. Visualizing this map is absolutely crucial because it proves this is not just some isolated little skirmish. The conflict is physically spilling over into multiple sovereign nations where American troops are stationed. Just to be crystal clear, as the reporting explicitly states, all of this widespread Iranian retaliation is acting as a direct follow-up to the downing of that U.S. Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. It's your classic rapid-fire tit-for-tat. One side strikes, the other responds, and the geographic map just keeps widening with every single exchange. Section 3. Targeting Kharg Island. Okay, this is where Kharg Island enters the chat. Based entirely on the reports, Kharg Island is an area absolutely packed with critical oil infrastructure. But here's the kicker. It isn't just being targeted for destruction. It's explicitly being targeted for capture. The stated goal here is to literally assume control of the energy markets flowing out of it. And, something like that would instantly send shockwaves through global gas prices and everyday logistics. We're shifting gears from military payback to an attempt at total economic seizure. Listen to the exact phrasing from the U.S. president on this, because it's pretty stark. Quote, "Take the Kharg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets." That is a profound escalation in objective. It's a publicly stated plan by the U.S. to capture sovereign energy resources and entirely take over another nation's primary economic engine. So, the crucial point here is understanding the step-by-step nature of this threat. It's highly methodical. Step 1. Take Kharg Island and other designated areas. Step 2. Physically capture those oil infrastructure points. And Step 3. Use that physical capture to assume total control of the oil and gas markets. 1, 2, 3. That lays out exactly what the U.S. intends to execute in the near future if their demands aren't met. Moving on to Section 4. The ultimatum and Venezuela. Now, this whole threat basically operates as a strict ultimatum. The U.S. is promising more strikes and the capture of all that critical oil infrastructure unless Iran immediately agrees to a peace deal. It's a maximum pressure campaign playing out right in front of us. Basically, agree to our terms for peace right this second or face devastating military strikes and the total loss of your oil markets. And this really illustrates the geopolitical playbook the U.S. is using here. The president actually cited Venezuela as the precedent for this exact action. According to his statement, the strategy used in Venezuela is, quote, working out brilliantly for both Venezuela and the United States. And now, Iran is being targeted for that exact same strategic approach. The U.S. is literally putting the Venezuela model on the table as the blueprint for what's about to happen to Iran's oil infrastructure if they don't reach that immediate peace deal. Which leaves us with a massive question to ponder. Let's recap. A fragile ceasefire is broken. A helicopter is down. Multiple bases across the Middle East have been attacked. And right now, we have an explicit ultimatum demanding an immediate peace deal under the threat of having sovereign oil markets entirely captured. So what happens next if Iran ignores this ultimatum tonight? The pieces are all set on the board. The threats are completely public. And honestly, the next few hours are going to determine the entire reality of the region. Thanks for tuning into The Explainer today. Keep your eyes on the news and always keep asking the right questions.